This is James Cosmo, and you're listening to Chris Gordon on Ramblings of a Hellblazer. So tell me, Chris Gordon, are you a brother of the Night's Watch or a bastard boy who wants to play at war?
Night gathers, and now my watch begins. It shall not end until my death. I shall take no wife, hold no lands, father no children. I shall wear no crowns and win no glory. I shall live and die at my post. I am the sword in the darkness. I am the watcher on the walls. I am the fire that burns against the cold, the light that brings the dawn, the horn that wakes the sleepers, the shield that guards the realms of men. I pledge my life and honour to the Night's Watch for this night and all nights to come. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to all my listeners, wherever you are in the world right now. This is Ramblings of a Hellblazer with yours truly, Chris Gordon. Many thanks for your continued support and for tuning in, without which this show wouldn't exist. And if you're tuning in for the first time, then take a seat, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. I've been on vacation recently to Orlando, had an amazing time letting my hair down, not that it's actually long enough, and I've regenerated the batteries, but I was always working, I was always still trying to secure some guests for my show and for you guys, and today I am proud to bring to you one of those, so no need for long introductions, but we're going to do one anyway. Tonight we're going to go to Westeros. We're up against the wall with the commander of the Night's Watch, Jeor Mormont. We go back through time to Angus MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod, as well as from Braveheart, and many other roles over an illustrious 50-year career, and still counting. Tonight I bring to you the one, the only, the wonderful, Mr. James Cosmo. Good evening, James.
Hi, Chris. How you doing?
I'm great, thanks. I'm great. And yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah.
Great. Excellent. Well, as you know, there are some questions which have been sent in, and from myself as well, just to sort of have a chat and sort of get to know you a bit better.
Oh.
I've started them off. I've got some general questions to start off with, and then sort of a bit more tailored into things that obviously span your career. Talking about careers, you've actually had one hell of a successful career, dating over 50 years. You've been a memorable character in many shows and films that I grew up loving, like Soldier, Roughnecks, which I think might be the first time I've seen you on screen, Braveheart, and then you've even appeared in Supergran and Ramsay Nesbitt, which were always favourites of mine as a kid. What or who made you decide or inspired you to become an actor in the first place?
Well, my father was an actor, so I sort of knew what the profession entailed and the pitfalls in that profession.
Mm-hmm.
And I just gravitated to it when I was 17, and after a while I managed to get a couple of jobs and moved on from there. Yeah, but I've just always, as any young actor, you go and do all sorts of jobs just to keep food on the table.
Yeah.
But it was always something that I enjoyed doing, mostly. And yeah, it's a hell of a lot better than working in a factory, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's something that you can enjoy. Long days though, long days from people who told me.
Can be, it can be quite arduous at times, but at least then you have a decent amount of downtime to spend with your family,
Yeah, that's true. It's a couple of weeks, couple of months of hard graft, and then you get the downtime to go with it afterwards. So
exactly, yeah.
It does sound absolutely great. I mean, one film that you've starred in a long time ago was sorry, I didn't mean to age you at all there. It's Highlander, one of my beloved films. And I mean, Angus MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. Do you still keep in touch with anyone from Highlander at all?
Not really. I had a nice message from Celia Imrie, who was in it.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're both working in the same film,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't meet, so we sort of sent our love to each other through various mediums. But not really, the film industry is funny because you work with people on one job and then you might not work with them for several years, but then again, when you do meet, you pick up that friendship again.
Yeah, I can get that, and I mean, obviously, with the fact that you're moving from one film and one show to another, so
yeah,
you haven't really got that time to sort of
not
keep
really.
in touch.
Oh, no.
Cool. I mean, did have the pleasure of having Adrian Paul on my show once, but sadly, he was the wrong Highlander for you.
Ah, right. Yeah.
The TV Highlander.
Yeah. I think the first one was. I think the first Highlander was pretty good, and then it, as happens with sequels usually,
Yeah.
they don't come up to the first one.
No, kind of lost a bit lost a bit for me, I think, definitely.
Yeah,
But as I say, it can happen with a lot of sequels like that.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
In your career as well, I mean, you've worked with some of the best, including Olivier. Is it
No, no, I never worked with Olivier.
Oh,
No.
didn't you? I thought that was Battle of Britain, was it? No.
Oh, well,
We kind of. When I say that, I mean you're in the same film.
we were in the same movie, yeah, but we weren't. We didn't. Yeah, we were certainly, yes. But then again, Battle of Britain had just about every film star possible in it. You know, there was hundreds of them.
That's very true. What was that like as well? Because I mean, that must have been an epic. That was in the days when films were epic, weren't they? And they just brought loads and loads of extras into them rather than CGI.
It was an enormous film, you know, and of course there was absolutely no CGI in those days.
Yeah.
So the Spitfires and Hurricanes and Messerschmitts that you saw were all real planes flying, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was an extraordinarily emotive sort of film, you know, because we shot it in a long hot summer, the same as the real Battle of Britain, and I got to meet a couple of air aces that had actually been there and done it, you know. So that was, for a young actor, an experience.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, I mean, some of those films are, you know, I still class some of those as better than some of the modern day ones because it's pure adrenaline. And you guys actually, you got the chance to speak to people who did it for real, which is something sadly they can't do nowadays.
Exactly, yeah, they're all gone.
They definitely are. So what would you say were your most memorable moment of your career has been so far?
Oh, I suppose that the one that most people remember most is Braveheart, which was such a huge movie. And even then, you know, as I was saying, we used a tiny little bit of visual effects, but the technology wasn't there, so we really did have 3,500 extras on some of the big battle scenes. You know, that's a lot of people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, and about 200 horses and things. So it was pretty extraordinary to be on a film like that, and then to see it have such worldwide acclaim. It was amazing.
It was a brilliant film as well. It really draws out the emotion in you.
It did, yeah.
I've actually got Paul Eatock asked a question regarding Braveheart, and he said, "Is it true that Mel Gibson called you out of the blue to ask you to be in it?"
Yes, he did, yeah.
Yeah, that's just absolutely awesome.
He phoned me one Saturday night at 20 to 11. He was in California and I was over here. And gave me a call and said, "Will you come and play Campbell, the father?" Which was a pretty nice phone call to get.
I can imagine. Oh yeah, just can't even speak. I can't even say the words for that. That is just something that would be absolutely fantastic, even for obviously an esteemed actor like yourself, to have someone like Mel Gibson just personally request you to be in his film.
Yeah, it was really nice of him. He's a lovely guy.
So how do you kind of prepare yourself so you kind of bring the right amount of realism and emotion to a scene?
It's a matter of, not to get too deep into it, but it's a matter of sublimating your ego into the character, you know, and letting the character speak through you. Stanislavski's written huge tomes on it and things, but it does come down to that, you know, that the character has got to take over. And if you allow that to happen, or if you can make that happen, then you get a performance that has a reality to it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that comes easily, and sometimes it comes hard, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a very interesting process.
Excellent. I guess that's why you've been in it so long, is because you do it so well.
Well, thank you.
No problem. Have you kind of learned? Also, we have many different directors, and they may have many different styles. So I take it, if you learnt from those directors that you've worked with throughout your career, and being able to adapt and incorporate things that you've learnt in future jobs that you've had?
I think I've learnt more from actors than I have directors. A lot of directors can be very good technically. They can be very good in the editing room, but very few directors truly understand the acting process, which is always a great regret for me. I think every director should spend at least 3 months at a drama school in front of a camera acting. Mm-hmm. And then they might get an idea of where an actor is coming from. But very, very few of them do that, and therefore it's quite hard for them to communicate what they're looking for. I mean, obviously there are, tremendous exceptions like Danny Boyle, like Mel Gibson, like various people, Wolfgang Peterson. But in general, I found that I learnt more from watching older actors, more experienced actors go about their business, and also to not pay attention to directors, but not to let the technical side get in the way of the performance.
Yeah.
It's up to the technical side to capture the performance. It's not up to you to work to the technical side.
I like that. No, that is actually perfect. It's I guess I ask that question to a lot of the guys I have on, and it's nice to see the different variations in the answers, but most of them sort of say the same thing as you have there.
Yeah. I mean, the vast majority of directors aren't particularly bright anyway. So I just get on with what I do, and if they get it, they get it, and if they don't, well, there you go.
Brilliant. Okay. I've actually a question from Laura Marie Howard. She's actually an up-and-coming actress. She's just been in a film called Pandorica, which is an independent film. It's just had worldwide release. Lovely girl, a really good actress. She's asking, what advice would you give to up-and-coming actors and actresses starting out in the industry now?
Well, the industry is obviously very different to when I started, and in many ways it was a lot easier then. It was harder to get into the profession. It was easier. I would say that you got to choose your path and then stick to it. Not to do the jobs that look easy and sound attractive. Look for the stuff that really stretches you as an actor. That really make you use your craft, and don't go for the easy option.
Yeah.
Don't sell yourself, because it's a if you do, it's a pretty lousy way to make a living, but if you can strive to do good work and honest work, then at least you can look at yourself in the mirror and think, well, I did my best.
Excellent advice, thank you. I'm actually going to plug there's a web TV show called Robin Hood, which is sort of in pre-production at the moment, and they've cast me as the jailer for next year. It's going to be filmed.
Oh, really?
So yes, I'm really excited about that. I get it's a speaking role apparently in the pilot, so I'm really looking forward to that, because it's something that I've always wanted to do. Now at the age of 40, I was always worried to get into something too old, but you're never too old to start anything new. And I'm, it's not. 40's not old, so yeah, it's something that it's hopefully it's the path down a career for me. So I'll take that advice for me as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ooh, thank you.
Okay, so Mamie in Japan, as far stretched as Japan. Worldwide fans you have here, James.
Yeah, it's lovely to hear.
Is there a role that you'd love to do that you haven't yet had the chance to?
No, not any specific role. Every role that comes along, offers new challenges. And I don't want to play Hamlet. I don't want to do Shakespeare. I think Shakespeare's been done enough by lots and lots and lots of people. I don't think the world needs another Hamlet for another 10 years or so. But no, I think it's there's always things coming down the road that you can contribute to and get something out of. So no, there isn't a specific role, but one lives in hope.
Excellent. And in a similar vein, Jenny Pugh has asked what's been your favourite role or character to play so far, and why?
Well, I would say favourite or enjoyable doesn't really come into it, but the role that I'm most proud of, say, is a film called The Pyramid Texts.
Right.
It's going to have its a release later on this year. And it's a 94-minute one-man monologue, which was quite challenging, but it was a beautifully written piece, and it's been received very well, So, yeah, I was very proud of that.
Awesome. Keep an eye out for that one. I mean, 94 minutes of a monologue.
Yeah,
that's something.
It's a lot of words.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be the one to watch as well, because that'd be a... When did you say that was coming out? Sometime later this year?
Later on this year, yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I'll make sure we keep an eye out for that one and pass it around as well. For
get
people
on Twitter, tell everyone about it.
Oh, I will. Don't worry. As soon as I put this out, I'll be mentioning it across and getting people to do so. Okay, the last of the general type questions now, before we move on to obviously one of the biggest shows out recently is you are an avid supporter of Comic Cons, and I know Wales Comic Con as well. You've been to several times.
Yeah.
What is it about them that you really love?
Well, it's nice to meet people who have taken the time and spent money to come and say hi, and it's lovely because it would be difficult for fans like that to get together anywhere else and not feel sort of awkward or whatever. But the Comic Cons, no matter what film you or TV series that you like, you can go along, you can dress up, you can have fun, you can meet people that have got the same interests as you, in a safe and sort of secure and happy atmosphere.
Yeah.
So it's all fun, there's never, you don't go to a Comic Con and think, oh dear, I hope everything's going to be okay today. You know that you're going to have a nice day and you're going to meet nice people.
Definitely. I mean, I know from experience with Wales Comic Con, I've been there with yourself, and you've always got a smile on your face and talking to people, and the response from fans themselves from your visits have been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
everyone loves seeing you there, and the interactions.
As an actor, you're in a very privileged position, that people actually do come along and say, I really enjoyed that, which is, there's not many professions get that kind of thanks, and I do appreciate it.
It's definitely a profession where you are right out in the public eye.
Yeah,
I'm an IT manager by trade, so I can tell you straight off, you don't get the same thing.
Absolutely
you
not.
don't get people coming up and saying the same sort of thing.
No.
Excellent. I mean, I'm actually looking forward to meeting you again in November, because I think you are coming back to Wales in November.
So I believe, yeah.
Currently.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. So yeah, that'd be absolutely awesome to do that again. So moving on to some Game of Thrones type questions or related questions.
Yeah.
Carissa, what are your fondest memories for working on Game of Thrones?
Okay. Well, our segment of the show was shot. The first season was in Belfast, and then seasons 2 and 3 were in Iceland. And although it was the conditions were arduous and we only had 4 hours of daylight, Iceland is the sort of place that you wouldn't normally go to, on a holiday, especially the far north of Iceland. So that was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience, just to be out there and in those sort of extreme elements. It was absolutely fascinating. I wouldn't recommend the rotted whale meat to eat. But apart from that, the people were absolutely charming, and we had a great time out there. It was great fun.
Excellent. I mean, were you aware when you were filming of the huge success and support the show was receiving? I think it was just starting from season 1. It probably was just starting to build up. But when you obviously through season 2, 3, were you actually aware of that as you were going through?
Yeah, I mean, I remember being in LA and doing some ADR, and Dan and David, the two producers and writers, were there, and I said, "Do you think we'll get a second series out of this?" And he said, Dan said, "Well, we hope we'll get another one. My God, it's coming up for season 7 now.
I know, yeah.
But no one realised how big it would be. I mean, they put everything into it, but it could have just as easily fallen flat in its face. Nobody knows anything. It's just amazing to be part of that phenomenon.
I can imagine. It was. It just took the world by storm. It really did. But like you say, there's been other shows where they've had that sort of similar creation from novels, and they just haven't had that same success. So it's really it's just unbelievable how many people have taken this to heart and supported. It's crazy. Okay, there are times on set, I'm sure, which were a bit light-hearted, even though the tone of the filming that you had to do. Is there anything that you can divulge, that perhaps practical jokes or anything things like that went on when you were over there filming?
Well, I wish I could say there was sort of light-hearted moments, and we did have a good laugh, when we weren't filming,
Yeah.
because it was like 22 hours of darkness to fill up. But when you've only got 4 hours of daylight to get a day's filming in, it's pretty intense. There really, really isn't any time to waste. So it was pretty full on, but we did enjoy ourselves, in the evenings and the dinners we had and things. That was pretty good. But when it came to the work, you had to have your game hat on.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it's 4 hours a day. Like, you've really got to be on your game there. But I guess the 22 hours of I still can't fathom that. The 22 hours of darkness. Okay, so it helped bond, and that might be something as well that helped the show's success. Is because if you're having that, if you've got that much of a bond between you all, it must be. It shows.
Yeah, and it was a lovely crowd of guys. I was the old guy in it, but all the younger guys in the night watch. We had a good time together. It was a lot of fun.
Excellent. Do you see that Jeor was like a father figure to Jon Snow, and that's how he would have liked to have seen him nurture and develop him?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I think that Mormont saw something in Jon Snow that he realised that this somehow could possibly be the next Lord Commander, and invested that in him. Obviously, his son had gone and was doing other things, but he had this he considered Jon Snow to be his protege, and obviously it turned out, that he was absolutely right.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. He's certainly taken things a long, long way.
yeah, he's certainly he's had a big journey.
He has, yeah. I'm actually, sadly, I've got to say, I'm still a slow one. I'm actually still halfway through season 3 at the moment.
Oh, right.
I'm on a binge watch catch up, so for me, talking to you is quite current because you've literally just died.
I've just been murdered.
You've just been murdered, yeah. So I'm very much enjoying it. There's so many things going on with family, and just couldn't get down to watch it. So
right.
I've binge watched it all so far, and I'm catching up quickly. I'm having to avoiding the media a lot of the time as well to try and find So yeah, I've just admitted there. It's, I've been slow to catch up. So when you actually read the script of detailing your demise, were you shocked and upset when you read that?
No, not at all. No, I knew that my character lasted into book 3 or whatever, and that he was going to go. And I thought my demise was pretty well handled. I think Mormont died as he would have liked to have lived. He just being, behaving like the honourable man that he was.
Yeah. Definitely agree with that. If you could have chosen your death, how would you have had your character die, if at all?
Exactly the way he did.
Cool.
Behaving honourably and right down to the end,
mm-hmm.
and leading his men as best he could. That I think that was the whole character of Mormont. He was a very not one-dimensional, but he had one task in life. And that was to lead the Night's Watch and protect the Wall, and that's what he did.
Yeah, okay, that's a pretty decent answer, thank you. James Walker has asked, do you wish you had a bigger role in Game of Thrones?
Yeah, it would have been nice, But the thing is, with Game of Thrones, there are so many storylines going on.
Oh, yes.
And you can be big in one episode and then not appear in another one. You can be out of a series and then come back, Mm-hmm. It's just the nature of that series that it continues to have lots of strands, so you just have to take what you're given, really.
Yeah, definitely. I think I saw research. I was reading some research, and they were trying to get into which character has been in the most seasons, in the most episodes, or interacted the most. And it turns out that Peter Dinklage as Tyrion has actually interacted with more people than anybody else. So they turned.
Oh, really?
So
Yeah.
they turned around and believed that Tyrion
Yeah,
Lannister was actually the protagonist of Game of
yeah.
Thrones.
Yeah, he's a terrific actor, and the character he plays is great. Yeah, so that's no bad thing.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I can't say ill of any of the characters or the actors on Game of Thrones. Like you say, it just seems to be. That's probably why the success is so good, because everyone is just superb in that whole ethos and the whole genre of what they do.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Okay, moving on to some post Game of Thrones ones now. I mean, that was back in 2013, was it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
God, I mean, you've had a tremendous amount of filming since then as well. I mean,
yeah,
the things I picked out were things like the Durrells, which has just been recently on.
yeah.
Captain Creech.
Yes, yeah.
And Shetland as well. Sadly, it's a show I've missed with Dougie Henshall, is it?
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What was it like filming back in native Scotland for you?
Oh, it was nice.
Yeah.
They did a lot of filming up in Shetland, but I did all my stuff in Glasgow, which is my hometown.
Oh, awesome.
And so it was lovely to get back to home turf and catch up with all my friends up there. You know, it was great. Glasgow's a great city now, wonderful city.
I've never been. I've been to Edinburgh, so Glasgow's definitely on the list to go to.
Oh yeah, yeah, much nicer than Edinburgh.
Bit of bias there coming through.
Yeah, there certainly is.
Excellent. You've also been filming something. I don't know how much you can talk about it. I don't want to no spoilers, but with Train Spotting 2.
Hmm.
I'm not going to ask you for spoilers. I'm just things like, don't worry. How did it feel reuniting with the cast? This is the question I've got, because then I'm not going to get into trouble.
I haven't actually started filming. I think I've got the week after next. But it's great. You know, Ewan McGregor's back. Bobby Carlyle, Ewan Bremner. You know, so it's going to be nice. You know, and it's a great script, and of course we'll get Danny Boyle directing, who's a fantastic director. And I think there's going to be a huge interest in what Train Spotting 2 is going to be like, and they won't be disappointed.
Exactly. I mean, it's 20 years, so it's going to be a real big reunion. I mean, Train Spotting HQ on Twitter were the ones who asked that question for you.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait for that. I mean, Warren Crew asks the same sort of question as me as well. Do you still get asked about Train Spotting, the original one, much?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, it's one of those films that it's still as vital and as fresh as the day it was made. You know, and because it was so well written and so well directed and acted, that it's one of those films that still has life today. So people come across it, and it's still very popular.
Oh yeah, it's a timeless classic. That I remember I was at uni when I watched that, and it just came out and was like, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
And obviously tub thumping. Whenever that comes on, it's certain things just take you right back to where you were, and that's one of those. Excellent. That sadly takes me into the questions I've got. But I mean, is there any other things you've got talking about Pyramid as well that you've got coming out that we can keep an eye out for? Yeah,
I've got a series that's coming out later on this year called SSGB, and that's for BBC. That's a 6-part adaptation of a Len Deighton novel, which is about the premise of the Germans won the war and they've invaded Britain, and it's a murder mystery that spirals into lots of other things, and that's wonderfully atmospheric. And I'm working with the lovely Sam Riley, who's just terrific in it. So I think that'll do really well. And I've also just finished a series called The Collection for Amazon and BBC, which it's loosely based on the Christian Dior, or the fashion business in France just after the war.
Okay.
The influence that haute couture had on revitalizing the French and making them believe that they still had a culture and everything else left, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been terrific. Really enjoyed doing that, and I think we're going to do another season of it. So it's all good, yeah.
Brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's great to see that you've got so many roles coming up as well that we can see you in.
Yeah.
Because sorry.
Working away.
Oh yeah. Never stop. But yeah, no, which is great because obviously it means we get to see you on screen as well. And like I said, personally for me, just want to thank you for what you've done because I've been watching you for 20 odd years on screen. I right back to say Roughnecks and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's just great to actually finally talk to you.
Great. Thank you, Chris.
Is there anything you'd like to say to your fans who are listening at the moment? One last thing.
Yeah, sure. I'd just like to thank them for the support, and it's great to know that one's work is appreciated, and I never take that for granted. And you're the guys that pay my wages, and I thank you for it.
Thank you very much, James, once again. That was absolutely fantastic. Really big honour to talk to you. I've grown up seeing you on my TV and in the cinema, so real honour there. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've all enjoyed that as much as I did, and thank you for sending your questions in. Hope you've got some responses that you'd like. So, my next guest will be Erin Elizabeth Burns next week. She's currently starring in Cell, an independent movie with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson, so that'll be an interesting one. And I hope to be bringing more Game of Thrones guests for you soon, as well as many more. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Chris Gordon, Ramblings of a Hellblazer. Goodbye.